Today we'll talk social media, and because two of the most important parts, I believe, of social media are transparency and consistency, I'm going to model transparency for you. I just finished the Max 30 workout day 11, and so I wanted to record this. I took my Bam Bam hair out, that's about it, but without makeup, all sweaty, all gross, and still a little bit breathless. So, as you're starting out as a new coach, this is a really exciting time for social media. So, you'll have to adjust my recommendations depending on how much you are currently posting. But your business is not the product. It's not Max 30. It's not Shakeology. It's not Payo. It's none of that. Your business, your product is you. It is you. Because when people enter these challenge groups, they're not entering the challenge group to only do the workout. They could only do the workout on their own, and very few people do. Most people order the product and then, or I should say, order a DVD set and then quit after a couple days because these are hard. It's hard to stick with something like this. It's hard to make a habit change. So your job and your role and what you are offering to the world is an opportunity to have a group atmosphere, or in the very least a coach to check in with, to hold that person accountable and to motivate that person. So you get to be that. You also are, in some ways, even if you're just coming into this and you don't have much experience with fitness or wellness or nutrition, you are growing up, you are growing into a fitness consultant of sorts. And how do we do this? We do this by living this way. People write books about success and personal development, not only from studying how to be successful, but from being successful. No one wants to listen to somebody who has, a dozen failed businesses that have never worked about starting a business. People want to listen to people like us who have the persistence and the motivation within our group to stick with a program and to find a lifestyle that works. So you are a lifestyle fitness wellness consultant. So on your social media, this is your opportunity to show that. So to show that you're working out, to show that you're eating healthy, to show that you have cheat meals, whatever that means. I have a certain philosophy about cheating. But to show that you're living a life with awareness, you're living a whole life, of which activity and eating whole nutritious foods is a part of. So I would say that step one, when you're stepping into your social media platform, is to recognize who you are and who you want to be portrayed as. And I don't mean, faking that you're somebody. I mean being completely transparent. Um, in my own personal example, this Max 30 journey is a hell of a journey for me. I've been doing PIO forever. I was doing the 21-day fix before that, but I have never stuck with the entire program schedule. With PIO, I was enjoying that and kind of mixing it in with my 21-day fix. I was teaching cycling classes. I was hiking. I was doing a bunch of stuff, but to stick with, it's sitting right here, so I've just keep staring at him. To stick with this program is a journey for me, and it sucks some days. I hate it some days. And if I didn't share that, if I only shared my smiles and my I maxed out faces, A, that's not real. B, it's misleading. And C, why would anybody who is starting a new fitness program want to work with me when they know that they're going to have difficulties? So you've got to be transparent. And the same way, on my good days, I share that it was a great day because it was a great day. And so it's about sharing your ups and downs, sharing your life. So you have to start thinking about your Facebook, your Instagram, your blog, whatever mode of social media that you're using as the face of your business. And that face is you. So yes, we will talk about the products that we're using. I talk about drinking Shakeology, but I don't, show my boxes of Shakeology. Sometimes I'll show my shaker cup, but I actually like drinking my shakes out of jars more than my shaker cup. But I'll say something like, I had a recent post that I had a peanut butter and jelly smoothie because it was my last day of grad school, and I shared so I substituted spinach for bread. It sounds gross, but it's really good. Strawberries and blueberries for jam. Put in natural peanut butter, and then I said, and adding a superfood supplement, and the best macronutrient balanced and micronutrient dense option that I've found is Shakeology. Now that language makes sense for me because I know what that means, but finding a way for that sort of language to make sense for you, where Shakeology is like an option for people, or just to show that that's what you're drinking. So sometimes I'll take a picture of my office, at my favorite coffee shop, and show my computer, my planner, my maybe my coffee and my Shakeology. And I don't say anything about my Shakeology, but it's right there. So the Beachbody products become subtle forms of the entire experience that we're offering in our challenge groups or accountability groups. Now the same thing goes for the workout DVDs. Instead of saying, try Max 30, it's on sale, it's a new program, nobody knows what Max 30 is when it comes out. Same thing with like T25 or PIO. You want to word it in a descriptive way. So when PIO came out, I talked about how it was built for people who had injuries to prevent those injuries, and how our society, sometimes I can get on a soapbox, but I talked about how sometimes our society can be very reactive, and this was more preventative and building strength while building flexibility, while giving your heart an amazing workout. Talking about Max 30, I mean, I feel like it's very raw for me to talk about Max 30. It's so freaking hard. But it's about an inside out transformation. It's about like pushing my buttons that I thought like only like my sister and I can push our buttons really well. I thought that only she could push those. And it turns out that, this program, Shanti, is like my second sibling. So talking about your journey is very important. So thinking of your face as your business and your social media as the platform for sharing you. And then the second point was to subtly share the Beachbody products that we offer, but to remember that we are selling, not even selling, we're sharing an entire experience, a challenge group experience, a one-on-one coaching experience. We're sharing a lifestyle, and it's really a humbling gift on both ends, I feel. So starting out now, so this is point number 3, as a new coach, think about how many times a day you usually post, and think about the types of posts you usually put up. When I became a coach, I posted maybe once a month, maybe once every other month. And so diving into posting was new for me. I am a personal trainer and a fitness instructor, so it wasn't so strange for me to come out of the gates and say, I have a 7-day clean eating challenge, because that's kind of the avenue that I was in. But if you've never talked about fitness on your Facebook wall before, or if you have a lot of pictures of you having fun with friends and partying and stuff like that, you can use that. So it's like a lot of people liken this to a book, this journey like a book, where we don't just start in the middle of the book, we start at the beginning of the book. So saying something like, if you decide to offer a free clean eating challenge, or you start a challenge group, saying, I've been having a good time, but I really want to shift my lifestyle into something that I can maintain for the next 50 years. Or that I can feel better, or I recognize that summer's coming and I'm just tired of hiding in big baggy t-shirts and I want a change. So who's with me? Who would like to hold me accountable, and I'll help to hold you accountable, and I'll provide these things for you, whether it's 7 days of clean eating recipes and grocery lists, or it's a 21-day opportunity to try a new workout program with meditations, whatever you want to offer. But it's about a mutual journey. It's about sharing an experience with others. Now, backing up, before we post something like that, maybe before we make that initial offer, we want to start being more consistent in our social media presence. So maybe if you weren't posting before, maybe you start with posting 1 time a day. And after a month, work up to twice a day. If you post on a pretty regular basis, maybe working up to 2 to 3 times a day on your personal page, your personal Facebook page, or Instagram. And as you post, not all of these posts have to be, or even should be, about health and fitness. I am still learning the hard way that people want to hear more about you than they want to hear about like what you're eating or what you're doing to work out. They do want to hear those things too, but I heard somebody recently talk about it's like your life is like a reality show, and not in a narcissistic way, but just people want to see what's going on. They want a little window into your life. And what's hard for me personally, again, this is the transparency, is I feel like I have a lot of content. Like I feel like I've spent 10 years in this industry. I have lots of experience. My husband cooks really great things, so I have lots of recipes to share. I happen to hate cooking, so there's that. But it's hard for me to find personal things to share that I feel open sharing about. So, that's my own struggle, that's my own journey, and you have to find really what pushes your buttons and how to take yourself out of your comfort zone. So the general rule to follow is 80% personal and 20% fitness, wellness, business. Now you can always, like I was talking about with like my office, you can weave in that fitness, wellness type posts, but they don't all have to be blatantly like, I'm going to work out now or I'm going to eat clean now. You want to weave those in subtly. Also, there are peak times a day to post. So generally, and you have to explore your own market for this, your own network. But generally between 7 and 9 a.m. Central Time and 7 and 9 p.m. have said to have been the most optimal times to post. I find that I have a lot of people in the late morning who respond to my posts, but generally between like 3 and 5 p.m. Central Time, nothing. I get like crickets. So it's good to experiment with that. And some people who have like stay-at-home moms or work-at-home moms as their network, they might have more traffic during nap time, but that's something to experiment with as well. And finally, when you're doing, not finally, I have a couple more points, but when you're doing your call to action posts, so the posts where you want a lot of people to see them, you want interaction, those typically, and again, you should experiment with this, but those typically get more traffic Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights. It seems that like when Thursday comes and through the weekend, nobody wants to like join anything, and people are thinking about having fun on their weekends. So generally, call to action posts are done best Sunday through Wednesday nights. And again, you can experiment with that. Now, what to post, right? Like I talked about it, it's hard to sometimes find personal things to post about that aren't like related to health and fitness, because for me that's on my mind a lot. So when I post stupid things that my husband and I talk about, which are like really interesting to us but seem to be funny to the outside community, I seem to get a lot of action about that. I always get lots of action about my husband because he's a wonderfully ridiculous person. So funny things is a great thing to post about. Conversation starters. So posting something that's helpful, like maybe, and this is going back to clean eating, but maybe posting recipe and saying, you want the comments, if you want the recipe, indicate that in the comments below, or say so in the comments below, something like that. Or asking for help. People want to give advice. This particular morning, I had a headache, and it's coming back. I'm trying to drink this coconut water, which I hate. But I asked Facebook. I said, I have a killer headache. I woke up with, or I went to bed with this, woke up with this. Who has time for that? Any natural home remedies? And a number of people posted about putting peppermint extract on your temples, which I did, and it helped, and drinking coconut water and things like that. So people want to give their advice. I got married this summer, and earlier in the year, I posted something about which shoes do you like better, because I was determined to wear Toms for my wedding. And I said, do you like this one or this one, A or B? And I made like a pretty picture, and people voted. So what happens on Facebook, and I'm sure this will change as social media does, but the more traffic you have on your page, so the more that people like or comment on the stuff that you put up, the more Facebook affinity you have. And it's kind of like high school, where it's like a popularity contest, but the more affinity you have, the more that your post gets put in the newsfeed. So a lot of my new coaches, or a lot of my coaches that kind of go in and out because their lives are so busy, will all of a sudden, out of nowhere, put up a post about their challenge, and wonder why no one comments. And it's because not a lot of people might see that post. Consistency also comes into play too. If you put up a post out of nowhere about this program that you're offering and you're doing, people haven't had a chance to ruminate over you, over what that means, and they don't know what you're doing, and they don't know for sure that you're legit or that you're going to stick with something. So that's why starting to put one or two, maybe two or three posts up every day will help you to get Facebook affinity, and it will help to show your consistency in this lifestyle change that you're doing and this new job that you have. Something inspirational is also great to put up. So whether it's a picture, a quote, something like that. But what I would encourage you to do, and don't get stressed out about this, right out of the gates, but is to create your own. So I actually use Rona on my phone. It's an app. It's RHONNA, and I use that to make pretty pictures or to put text on my pictures. Or lately, I've been using a chalkboard background and then writing in like chicken scratch like font a quote. And sometimes it's my own quote. Sometimes it's a famous person's quote, and I will credit them. And then I put my either at Allison Cleanaware Fit, because that's my Instagram name, or I'll put my logo on there, so that when people share it, you want people to share your stuff. When people share it, your name gets out there. It's both less likely to be seen on Facebook, and it's not as much about you when you share somebody else's post. So it's not that it's bad, it's just that it's optimal for you to create your own content, whether it's quotes or your own face or your own pictures. So something that can help you out, and an action step that I would take today, that I advise you to take today, is write down 10 things that you're into. This was hard for me, so I started with 5. So 5 to 10 things you're into. Like for me, I really love hiking. I love yoga. I love my nephews and my niece. I think my husband is hilarious. I love meditation. I like working out, and I love my smoothies. I know that's weird. But those are the things that I like. So watching yourself and watching what you post over time is important. So going through your Facebook page, maybe once a week, and thinking, am I posting consistently about a number of different things? And that will help you to make sure that you're reaching a greater range of people, so that you're not only reaching the people in your life who are already into fitness, you're touching the people who are on the periphery, on the fitness periphery. But it's like you're a real person who's welcoming them to come in at any time. Finally, don't post and run. So when you put up a post, even if it's your comment in the post, it's likely to get more Facebook affinity. So you want to interact with the people who are engaging with your post. So there were a few people today in my headache post who suggested the peppermint extract, so I tagged them. And I said, to these poor people, oh my gosh, this is helping tremendously. I tagged my brother-in-law who suggested the coconut water. But you want to interact with people, not only because it's like a human thing to do, it's a way to treat people like people, and to honor that they are taking the time to provide advice. But it also does help with your Facebook affinity, so that when you tag people and when they interact with your posts, they are more likely to see your post show up more in the news. And we want that because we want to add value to people's lives. That should be the biggest part of our posting, adding value, whether it's a good laugh, it's something inspirational, it's a recipe, it's a window into our life so they are comfortable coming to us. We are adding value all day long on our social media pages. So take yourself seriously. Beachbody isn't your brand, you are your brand. Take yourself seriously and allow yourself to be seen. Allow yourself to be transparent. And the final piece of advice that I have is, even if you're having a rough day, you've got to find a way to spin it, and to show that you will work through a struggle, or that things are looking down, but you can see the bright side. So you've got to turn it and lift it back up, or at least, sorry, that's my annoying text message. You've got to find a way to to lift it back up so that you're not a negative force in the world, but a real one. So again, I could have said, oh, I have a terrible headache, life sucks. Because that's kind of how I felt when I woke up this morning. But instead, I tried to spin it, and I got advice from a great range of people, some of whom I didn't even know were seeing my posts. So be an uplifting force. Decide how you want to be seen. Write that down. Write down who you want to be for your social media world. It's actually a blessing that we have this form of technology, because personally, I've been able to reach out to so many more people than I would have in my little Boulder bubble. And I've been able to connect with a lot of friends from high school and college and even middle school who I would have no way of contacting. Um, and maybe they would have no reason to reach out to me if we didn't have this type of technology. So today, the homework, or your what I hope to see in the comments, is 10 things that you're interested in, and your goal for the next month. So from here in the next 30 days, of how many posts you will put up every single day. Weekends don't get as much action, but we still want to be consistent and maybe post one or two, fun things that we're doing over the weekend. So I can't wait to see what you're into